Quantum computing. You hear about it all the time. It promises to change, well, pretty much everything. But have you ever stopped to wonder how it actually works? How do you tell one of the universe's tiniest particles what to do? And even more important, how do you make it work together with another one? Well, that's the secret we're unlocking today as we look at the real engine of the quantum world, the controlled gate. So this is really the core puzzle we're tackling. How do you make one tiny quantum particle dictate the actions of another one? How do you build a relationship between them that classical computers can't even dream of? The answer isn't just some piece of hardware. It's the absolute key to unleashing quantum power. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to see why the old school logic of classical computers just doesn't work here. Then we'll meet the quantum version of an if-then statement, the controlled gate. After that, we'll see how it creates that famous spooky magic of entanglement. And finally, we'll discover how this one little tool is basically the universal building block for all of quantum computing. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, to really get why quantum gates are so special, we have to start with why the gates in your laptop or phone just won't cut it for the quantum world. So think about the bits in your phone. They're like little light switches. They are strictly on or off, a 1 or a 0. Super simple. But a quantum bit, or a qubit, oh man, that's a whole different ballgame. Thanks to this mind-bending property called superposition, it can be a 0, a 1, or somehow both at the exact same time. It's a world of and, not or. And to control that, you need a completely new toolkit. And that brings us to the star of our show today, the quantum-controlled gate. You can think of it as the quantum version of a simple if this, then that command. And trust me, this is where the real power starts to build. So let's meet the most famous tool in this new kit, the controlled NOT gate, or CNOT for short. As you can probably guess, it's all about control. It takes 2 qubits and creates this direct conditional link between them. One qubit basically becomes the boss, and the other one has to listen. Now, the logic here is surprisingly simple, but the consequences are, well, they're profound. Here's how it works. If the control qubit, the boss, is in the 0 state, it tells the gate, hey, stand down. Nothing happens to the second qubit. It's left alone. But if that control qubit is a 1, that's the green light. The gate activates and it flips the state of the other qubit, the target qubit. That's the whole operation. Simple, right? So let's just break that down one more time because it's really important. You've got 3 parts here. You have the control qubit. That's the switch, the one that makes the decision. You have the target qubit, that's the one that's going to get manipulated. And you have the conditional operation, in this case, a flip, that only, and I mean only, happens when that control qubit says so. Okay, a conditional flip sounds kind of neat, but why is this such a game changer? What's the so what here? Well, this simple little mechanism is the key to unlocking the single most powerful and frankly weirdest phenomenon in all of quantum mechanics. And that phenomenon is entanglement. You might have heard Einstein call it spooky action at a distance. It means 2 qubits become so deeply linked that they're basically one system. If you measure one, you instantly know the state of the other one, even if it's on the other side of the galaxy. It's this perfect connection that totally defies classical physics, and it is forged by the CNOT gate. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. Entanglement isn't just some cool party trick. It is the backbone of the entire field. It's the secret sauce that gives quantum computers their power. And you have to remember, this essential backbone is built piece by piece with the simple if-then logic of these controlled gates. Without the CNOT, there is no backbone. So how in the world does a simple flip create this cosmic connection? This is where it gets wonderfully strange. Remember how our control qubit is in a superposition? It's both a 0 and a 1 at the same time? Well, this means the CNOT gate is also in a superposition. It is simultaneously doing nothing, because of the 0 part, and flipping the target, because of the 1 part. By existing in both of these realities at once, it forces the 2 qubits into a shared fate they can never escape from. That, right there, is entanglement. Okay, let's zoom out for our last section and see how this one type of gate, when you combine it with a couple of others, becomes the fundamental building block for any quantum computer program you could possibly imagine. You might think you'd need this huge, complex toolbox to build a quantum computer. But what's so incredible is that you only need two basic types of tools. You need single qubit gates, think of these like precision knobs to fine-tune individual qubits, and you need our CNOT gates to wire them all together and create that all-important entanglement. That's pretty much the entire toolkit. This simple set of tools is what we call universal. It means that just by arranging these single qubit gates and CNOT gates in the right order, you can build a circuit to run any quantum algorithm you can possibly dream up. It's like having just two types of Lego bricks, but being able to build anything you want. And look, this isn't just theory on a whiteboard. Scientists and engineers are building these gates right now using some incredible tech. They're trapping individual atoms with lasers, building tiny superconducting circuits that are controlled by microwaves. All of this is to create and manage these super delicate quantum operations. The real challenge is just making them accurate and reliable every single time. So here's the big takeaway. That simple if-then logic of the controlled gate is the engine that creates entanglement. And entanglement is the fuel for the whole quantum revolution. Perfecting these tiny quantum switches is really the biggest challenge standing between us and a future we can barely even imagine. So it leads you to this final question. What breakthroughs, what new medicines, new materials, new forms of AI are just waiting on the other side once we perfect these amazing little gates?